When Ali came in that gym for those 4 hours, he entertained everybody in the gym. He flirted with the girls. He did everything.
Freddie Roach has spent over 4 decades inside the fight game. First as a gritty lightweight contender under Eddie Futch, and later as one of the greatest boxing trainers in history. He shaped legends like Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto, and James Toney, earning a reputation as a brilliant strategist and a strict old-school teacher. Now at 65, after a lifetime of studying fighters, Roach finally revealed the 10 boxers he admires more than anyone else. These are the fighters whose styles, discipline, heart, and talent left the deepest mark on him. Let's break them down one by one. 10. Bernard Hopkins. Rounding out the list is Bernard Hopkins, a fighter Roach praises for his longevity, discipline, and ring IQ. Hopkins fought at an elite level well into his late 40s, something Roach says is almost impossible without total commitment to training and diet. Freddie admired how Hopkins neutralized faster, younger fighters with positioning, timing, and psychological warfare. Roach often used Hopkins as the ultimate example of how experience and intelligence can defeat youth. Hopkins' discipline and mental toughness made him one of the fighters Freddie respected most. 9. Miguel Cotto. Freddie worked closely with Cotto and always admired his humility, discipline, and brutal body punching. Roach loved how Cotto trained, quietly, professionally, without drama. Freddie often says Cotto had the cleanest left hook in boxing and was one of the easiest superstars to coach because he absorbed instructions instantly. Their time together revitalized Cotto's career and brought them a world title, something Roach considers one of his proudest achievements as a trainer. Their mutual respect still runs deep. 8. Sugar Ray Leonard. Roach sees Leonard as the perfect blend of speed, power, timing, and ring intelligence. To Freddie, Leonard's ability to shift gears mid-fight was unmatched. The way Leonard closed rounds strong, stole momentum, and stayed calm in big moments left a huge impression on Roach. He often tells his fighters to watch Leonard's precision. Every punch had a purpose. And perhaps more than anything, Roach respects Leonard's heart. When the lights were brightest, Sugar Ray always delivered. 7. James Toney. Freddie trained James Toney early in his career and still considers him one of the most naturally gifted boxers he's ever seen. Roach praises Toney's defensive brilliance, the shoulder roll, the subtle pivots, the way he made opponents miss by inches. But what impressed Freddie most was Toney's counterpunching. He didn't just avoid punches, he punished opponents for throwing them. Roach has often said that if Toney had been more disciplined outside the ring, he might have been a top 10 all-time great. Still, his raw talent alone earns him a place on Roach's list. 6. Henry Armstrong. When Roach thinks of superhuman willpower and stamina, he thinks of Henry Armstrong. Armstrong held titles in 3 divisions simultaneously. Something Roach loves to remind people will probably never happen again. Freddie admires Armstrong's insane work rate, non-stop pressure, and ability to drown opponents under a tidal wave of punches. He believes Armstrong's engine and tenacity would still give modern champions nightmares. Roach often calls him the perfect example of controlled chaos and teaches his fighters to study how Armstrong attacked without ever getting reckless. 5. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. Freddie Roach has always held a special respect for fighters who break opponents down systematically, and Chavez Sr. was the master of that style. Roach praises Chavez's textbook balance, crushing body shots, granite chin, and relentless pressure. Freddie faced Chavez as a trainer in big fights and saw firsthand how brutally efficient he was. Chavez didn't waste punches. He didn't retreat. He didn't slow down. He wore fighters out physically and mentally. Roach often uses Chavez film to teach his boxers the fundamentals of pressure fighting, saying, "This is how you break a man." 4. Muhammad Ali. Roach sees Ali as the complete package: the speed, the footwork, the charisma, and above all, the courage. Ali fought during an era of monsters: Foreman, Frazier, Liston, Norton, and he beat them with a mix of style and heart that Roach says no heavyweight has ever matched. Freddie has always admired how Ali reinvented himself after his exile from boxing. When he lost his legs, he replaced movement with toughness. When he lost speed, he compensated with strategy. Roach respects Ali not only as a boxer, but as a cultural icon who stood up for his beliefs, something Freddie always tells young prospects to admire. 3. Roberto Duran. Freddie has always adored fighters with grit. Duran. Roach admired Duran's savagery in the ring, the way he stalked opponents, cut off the ring, slipped punches, and tore them apart on the inside. He was vicious, fearless, and technically brilliant. Freddie often tells his fighters to watch Duran's balance and economy of movement. Duran could fight at all ranges and had a ring IQ that Roach considers criminally underrated. Even late in his career, Duran fought legends and never backed down. That warrior mentality deeply inspired Roach. 2. Manny Pacquiao. Roach doesn't rank fighters lightly, but Pacquiao stands in a category of his own. Freddie watched him evolve from a wild, one-handed slugger into an 8-division champion with speed, rhythm, timing, and devastating power in both hands. They spent 20 years together building one of boxing's greatest partnerships. Roach praises Pacquiao's unmatched work ethic, running hills at 4 a.m., sparring with dangerous opponents, and always pushing himself harder than anyone else in the gym. Freddie often says Manny's explosiveness can't be taught, and that his southpaw angles change the sport. To Roach, Manny is not just a champion, he is the most gifted offensive fighter he has ever trained. 1. Eddie Futch. Freddie Roach's #1 pick isn't just a boxing legend, he's the man who shaped Roach's entire life. Eddie Futch trained more than 20 world champions, including Joe Frazier, Alexis Arguello, Ken Norton, and Riddick Bowe. But to Freddie, Futch was more than a coach. He was a father figure, a philosopher, and a genius who understood boxing on a deeper level than anyone Roach had ever met. Roach has said that every lesson he teaches today, from foot positioning to balance to emotional discipline, came directly from Futch. He admired Futch's calm, strategic mind and his ability to control chaos inside the ring. Freddie calls him the greatest teacher in boxing history, and it's no surprise he tops the list. Freddie Roach's list reflects his boxing DNA, a mix of legends, technicians, warriors, and personal mentors who shaped his understanding of the sport. From global icons like Ali and Pacquiao, to the strategic genius of Bernard Hopkins and the brutal artistry of Julio Cesar Chavez, these fighters represent everything Roach believes makes boxing great. And after more than 40 years in the sport, Freddie Roach's opinions carry weight because he didn't just watch greatness, he lived it, coached it, and helped create it.